Lucknow is the capital city of one of the biggest states in India, Uttar Pradesh. With a population of over 3.5 million, Lucknow has nearly 70% of its inhabitants living below the poverty line. In addition to poverty come other issues that are swallowing the vitality of its present-day society and are shaping a void for the future to come. Drug addiction is one such social evil.
ये लखनऊ की सरजमीं
नवाबों के इस शहर की हालत है ऐसी, नवाबों के इस शहर की हालत है ऐसी, कोई नंगा तो भूखा तो है कोई जोगी। नवाबों के इस शहर की हालत है ऐसी, कोई नंगा तो भूखा तो है कोई जोगी। मचलते चेहरे नम आँखें उस पर कई भोगी, रईसज़ादों के लखनऊ में ये गुर्बत कैसी, रईसज़ादों के लखनऊ में ये गुर्बत कैसी। भीड़ भुखमरी मुफलिसी गांजा और चरसी, मासूम चेहरे भटकते बिखरते किस्सा सब कुर्सी। ख्वाब हार उम्मीद सांसें अब गई टूटती, है कोई जो सुन ले खामोशी इन सब की, है कोई जो सुन ले खामोशी इन सब की, है कोई जो सुन ले खामोशी इन सब की। दिखा दे सच थमा दे सुकून भुना दे खुशी, दिला दे आस पका दे ख्वाब, खिला दे पेट भर रोटी। गुजर रहा है इस दर्द में हर शख्स यूं ही, जाने किस बात के होने का इंतज़ार है बाकी, जाने किस बात के होने का इंतज़ार है बाकी, जाने किस बात के होने का इंतज़ार है बाकी।
लखनऊ में जीना तो वैसे साहब रोजी रोटी तो चली
Earning
रही
bread
है।
on a daily basis is somehow manageable. The labor class is forced to work relentlessly in order to guarantee themselves the hope to work another day. And this hope fuels them in the journey to overcome poverty. With no support from the government and its facilities, the voiceless poor are continuously sidelined and remain unacknowledged. His family lives in a village. He is on his own here. Talking about his dreams or desires, he bluntly says he doesn't have any. Just one dream to go back to his village and to lead the rest of his life with his family. Village life is much better than city life. At least hope is there. Farming is an option that gives surety of everyday meals. And his kids are going to take care of him now, as it has been 35 years of hard work in the city. Life at the edge of anguish and despair. No family, no shelter, no one to hold on to. meaningless life, standing all alone with no path to go.
है मंजिलों की गोद में यहाँ हर एक राह गुजर, यहाँ दिलों में प्यार है, ये हुस्न इश्क का वतन, यही तो वो मकाम है जहाँ अवध की शाम है, जवां जवां हंसी हंसी, ये लखनऊ की सरजमी, ये लखनऊ की सरजमी।
If you have been to India, you would have probably noticed that beggars are a ubiquitous feature of all the big cities. This impoverished strata of society gets pushed around as these beggars are on the constant hunt for shelter, navigating the busy roads, banging on windows, chanting, "Please spare me some change," from one cart to the next. As the traffic begins to flow and the roads begin to empty, all that is left on the scorching black pavement are the desperate, the penniless, the parched, the hungry and the hopeful. Poor children on roads and streets are a common sight. But what takes away the land under my feet is their hunger and lust for tobacco consumption. Most of them consume it to derive a kick of energy, get rid of hunger, and to subside fatigue due to prolonged periods of work, or in short, to work more and more without food. Just imagine what will happen to these undernourished children as their organs grow more defective by the day and as they lose hope. Most Indians tend to scoff at this topic as they have their own struggles to cope up with. But regardless, this aspect of society cannot be ignored, as these faces could be the collective future of this country. They could be standing and competing amongst us one day. And just try to visualize what type of picture would they portray then. They will altogether have a different approach and perspective in reaching out to fill this vast gap, which will rather be impossible for them to keep pace with. In fact, exhaustion from their present lives will render them obsolete and useless by then. They will be looked at as a rotten fruits in a fresh basket. We are pushing them towards darkness today, and believe me when I say so, when they will come out in sunlight tomorrow, the otherwise pleasant feeling will seem like a flashing sting to their eyes.
मेरा नाम हिना है, ये मेरी कहानी है।
Hina's uniquity is highlighted by her perseverance. Despite her traumatic past, her tragic childhood, and the continuous obstacles she faces, her smile radiates with positivity and challenges any given circumstance with her evergreen optimism. A true fighter, and here's her story. What prompted or rather inspired me to pick this subject was Hina's traumatic childhood experiences, including her extreme tobacco addiction along with many life-threatening incidents, such as the death of her 19-year-old brother at the hands of drug overdose. Her infantile days had become extremely difficult after the divorce of her parents. Hina's mother went back to her grandfather's house, but he refused to accept Hina and her sister. As there was no one to look after them, they were again dropped at a mental asylum. Luckily, they were rescued from the asylum as soon as someone spotted them at the gates. Now the mother wanted to get married again, and the new husband demanded one condition: no girls. She thought of sending her elder daughter to our house where she can fit in as a maid and could earn some money for them. However, their plans for Hina were not exactly the same. They decided to shove her into a jute bag tied with a rope. With no knowledge of her next destination, Hina waited inside of the bag, breathless, cramped, hopeless. She was being sent to a nearby railway station to be thrown in an empty compartment so that she goes far, far away, never to come back. But as luck was on Hina's side, she was rescued and adopted by her mother's friend. Life was still not that easy for Hina. New parents were very poor, hand to mouth, and could not feed her much. She started learning to live without food for hours. Her hunger adjusted according to the availability of the food. With new life came big responsibility. She was put to task at the age of 6, doing household work, changing from one house to another from time to time. Here she got addicted to tobacco-based products that would instill energy and stamina to do more and more work without food. She started chewing morning and evening on a daily basis. And this is what most of the kids on the streets are doing. Life went on, working hard day and night to earn just 2 meals a day. During this period of time, she experienced what was definitely not meant for her age to go through. Sexual abuse, harassment, molestation. They were threatened not to speak about it. Even after complaining to the lady of the house, they were not taken seriously, rather scolded and warned of dire consequences. Lots of girls in India maintained their silence in this context, as it would bring disgrace to their name and character. Some silently moved to another job, while the rest compromises with the situations, but no one dares to raise their voice against them.
और काफ़ी उनके पापा ने बदतमीज़ी करने की कोशिश की, मगर मैंने बहुत हिम्मत दिखाई, हमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं करने दिया। लड़ने की कोशिश की, उन्होंने मेरे गाल पे दांत भी काटा, बाल भी नोचे मेरे, काफ़ी मुझे मारा, मगर बच गई मैं काफ़ी। फिर उन्होंने दरवाज़ा खोला।
After struggling hard, Hina was forced into a situation where she thought of getting married. To end all these hardships and the vulnerability of a woman in a male-dominated society, but didn't realize that guarantee of any such security demands some price too. She got married to her sister's brother-in-law and soon lost all the freedom. Desiring for a better, respectful life, it became more miserable. And the irony was, trying to protect her vulnerability as a woman outside, she became an open prey in her own house. Husband turned out to be a womanizer, drunkard, alcoholic and a drug addict. Sex every now and then became his habit, and the lust grew more and more. Hina was trying her best to cope up with the situation, but started losing her strength, courage and physical stability. Less food, scarcity of water, unhygienic small place, sex-addictive husband made her mentally sick. Then she got to know that her sister was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and that hit the alarm and she decided to run. And it wasn't that easy for her to run from that situation, but she gathered her strength and took the decision. That's why I call her a real fighter. But when it comes to her real mother, she transforms into a small kid. She couldn't control her emotions. She is still fond of her love and affection, despite the fact that once she tried to get rid of her as a child. Hina knows deep down inside that her mother doesn't have any place or feelings for her. She is not at all connected mentally or emotionally with her. Hina is just 22 and thinks half of her life is gone. And no reason for me not to agree with her, as she has gone through this tough, extremely challenging, undesirable life so closely, with a lot of humiliation, awkwardness, and embarrassment, to the extent that it has ripped her existence apart, making her fall time and again to finally give up. But as I said before, Hina is a true fighter, brave enough to stand up tall and ready to face the other half of her life. Protect and educate daughters, the slogan says, but deserted, homeless children on streets of India begging, how could they be protected or educated? These small children help their parents sell snacks on the streets, summing up their daily lives. Poverty has invaded these streets and has left them in desolate conditions. Infants are forced to sleep near tons of garbage, alongside dung here and there, with no sanitation facilities. Clean drinking water is the biggest crisis in these areas. No minister ever visits them. Nobody bothers to think about them. Hospitals are in bad condition. Though they are always charged, it's not free. No one ever finds time to visit their community, nor do they care to spend some time for their betterment, at least providing them a clean and healthy environment. No one really cares. They all go to a government school nearby. When asked what they want to be in life, the exciting answers fill my eyes. They want to be engineers, doctors, police officers. Child labor starts at an early age here, working through an entire day of grueling tasks with empty stomachs. They consume sachets of tobacco on an hourly basis to boost to their strength and fill up their lust for the drug. Their nightly meal is the only one that reaches their parched mouths. When asked what do they wish for their community at the moment, the answer was toilet. They don't have a single toilet for such a large community. They all go in open, despite the extreme climate or the timings. And for showers, they manage it inside their cottage. Even imagining was difficult for me, with such a small space, with a clutter of household items scattered all over the ground, with a couple of beds and a small kitchen. Maybe taking baths was an occasional thing for them. Hands that should be holding toys, pencils and toffees hold tobacco sachets in their hands.
हाँ बहुत खाते हैं, बड़े लोग खाते हैं। बड़े लोग तो खाते हैं, लेकिन इतने छोटे बच्चे, तुम जैसे छोटा बच्चा खा रहे हो तो फिर क्या? ये सारी दांत खराब हो जाएंगे। तुम भी सुपारी खा रहे हो? हाँ ये भी खाते हैं। ये तो बैठा है। सारे बच्चे सुपारी खा रहे हैं। सब खाते हैं। ये गड्डी भी खेलता है ये। हाँ ये गड्डी भी खेलता है। गड्डी भी खेलता है ये।
They will have a future one day, but it will be immersed in addiction. The mind would have lost all its senses, fighting with several diseases, making their way through the darkness, incapable of making judgments and taking directions, totally demoralized, weak spirits, heading towards the end of their journey with no aim or ambition or dream. It's all about passing time. Our society will definitely have all of us. The urban class, the rural class, the business class, the middle class, the lower class. But almost half of the space will be occupied by these utterly poor people below the poverty line. Get ready to be part of this big dysfunctional society, because we have left them merciless with no future or with no tomorrow. It's all about fulfilling their hunger, earning bread for themselves to survive the next day. In other words, it's a chase to earn meals twice a day. Chasing is making them exhausted, weak, all drained out. But they don't have the luxury to stop and relax or to take a pause to think or dream about their future. Instead, get ready for more and more hard work for the next day, under any given circumstances. This man lives here for quite a long time now. He says he is not well physically and mentally, though I could see nothing wrong in him. When asked how he copes up on a daily basis in terms of food and money, he says if someone is kind enough, otherwise sleeps without food. He has tried many medications but of no use. Is he going to waste his life on the street like this, doing nothing? And he says yes. He doesn't feel like doing anything. He acts almost like a brain dead, just staring at the traffic passing by, with no thoughts of his own, no expectations from tomorrow. Even today holds nothing to him. Time is just immaterial to him. Maybe he has given up from the hardships and complexities of this extremely poor life. India is becoming a thriving market of illegal drugs. Opium, marijuana, various kinds of sedatives, medicines and painkillers can be bought for less than $1. Most of the children on streets carry sachets of tobacco-based products. When caught, simply reply, "It's a mouth freshener, just for fun."
हाउस पेंटिंग
This man is a painter who earns almost $6 a day.
डेली मिलते हैं हम लोग
Even $6 is not fixed,
और उसमें हम लोग
because he works only for 12 to 15 days.
12 दिन काम मिलता है
Sometimes he sits for a month without any
हम
work.
लोग का जो है
In such scenarios, family comes for rescue. Either son or a brother or father helps and supports each other. They all live together under one roof. Parents, siblings, wives and children. Brothers and sisters are not yet married. Even his son is old now. Because of such a big responsibility for his family, he has to do 2 different jobs. He pulls a rickshaw as well to meet the financial ends, because painting houses are occasional. He just wishes for one thing to happen, which is having employment and more job opportunities. That will fix all the problems. Having a regular income every day, every month will make a difference. Life will surely be at ease. The work that he is into, all the profits and margins goes to the boss. They are paid so less despite all the efforts and hardships that they put in. What to say about the politicians? The way the country is heading, let it be. Sarcastically says he.
हम अमीर आदमी
Employment is very essential for us. We need money to survive each day.
तो हमें क्या जरूरत उससे?
We are not rich, we are poor people, we need jobs. On tobacco consumption, he says, yes, it's in our habit now. Everybody takes, even the kids standing here, they all take.
वो आपको बताएं वो सब
He talks about a leaf, a patti called bhang,
वो रिक्शे
that
वाले हैं
makes
कि
you
समझ
high.
अभी एक
Labor
लड़का
class
हमारे
is
यहाँ
quite
आया, मेरे
addictive to it.
कैंसर हो गया, मसाला खाता था बहुत।
Then he gives an example of a boy who came from another city. He was addicted to tobacco chewing. He has been diagnosed with cancer now. He is married and has kids. Looking at the kids around me, I inquired, did you ever hear someone not waking up in the morning or found dead on the bed without knowing what happened to them? Not getting a proper diet with addiction of all these drugs. Do you all know about this? And the answer was yes, they all know.
कि जो साधु लोग पीते हैं, संत लोग पीते हैं, वो चिलम होती है।
They tell me that the government should ban all these products which are taking the lives of these poor and innocent people. The rickshaw puller confirms that these drugs are being used.
जी, अब वो उनके, आप तो वो उनसे पूछिए जो आप जो क्यों पी रहे हैं।
Then he says the atmosphere of the city is like this only. People get up in the morning, come to the shop, order for tea, and then buy the sachets and put it in their mouth and go to work.
और यहीं होटल में चाय पीस वो आधी, उसका
That's the culture and routine here.
समझ रहे हैं आप? तो ये तो
Why don't you raise your voice? I inquired.
आवाज उठाए मार खाएंगे क्या आवाज
Who wants to be thrashed or beaten, says he. Looking at teenagers, I asked again, what's the real issue that you face here? And they answered, diseases due to unhygienic surroundings, dumps of garbage collection everywhere is the real concern. This is the picture of once the city of royals, now the land of the forgotten. Shriveled lips, parched throats, tattered hands, empty stomachs. A few aspects of life surrounding these destitutes. Devoid of their basic right to nutrition, food, clothes, roof, and education. Pondering of ways to pass time under these miserable conditions, with no dreams or wishes or any known ambitions. They lie, chained to their fate by the shackles of poverty. They choose to stay and will always remain there with no hesitation. As you walk past these victims of misfortune, don't look away, don't turn your backs. Don't look away, don't turn your backs. For these folks are living, breathing, thinking souls, full of potential, abilities, talents, and positive intentions. However, they are shadowed by the unbreakable wall of destitution. Lucknow's monuments still hold the sheen and remind of their glorious past. None of the recently constructed landmarks come close to reflect such character and charm. Poor people's expectations from the city have been crushed, and there is only dearth of hope and lack of optimism now. There were few places where we were told that drug dealers were seen active during morning and at night. As it was afternoon, we couldn't find anyone, so the next day we went a little early. But we were stopped and told not to go further as those people were dangerous, having knives and small country-made pistols. And the matter of the fact is, life doesn't hold much value here. We all got scared and came back, but I couldn't stop thinking the whole time. We should have taken the risk, should have gone closer, should have taken few camera shots for at least some seconds, should have exposed these people who are playing with the lives of these innocent poor people.
जब मेहनत करते हैं शाम को जो है पैसा मिलता है तभी खाना बनता है।
A man so common yet so positive about his tomorrow, and the minor changes that he wishes in the upliftment of his condition could really help him in taking care of his family with little ease. He has to work really hard the whole day to light the stove at night for food. He doesn't have any support from anywhere. Banks are there, but we don't earn that much which can support us at times of need. He is the eldest, arranges from groceries to stove fuel every day, and that's not an easy task. He is also addicted to tobacco, and that's his part of life now. What changes does he wish? He answers very humbly, just get the river clean. It will attract more tourists and more Hindus will start pouring to offer prayers at Gomti river. This way his earning will improve and his life could be a little better. He is totally discouraged by the government. He saved the lives of many drowning people at Gomti river. Once, a long time back, he was rewarded for that. But since then, he has saved more than 200 people, but has never been acknowledged or applauded for his efforts. We are looking forward to the government for our help. Nothing is in the hands of the poor. Still, with all humility, he folds his hand and pleads for our concern and our good wishes. And in return, he will be at our service all the time. This man stole my heart. Despite all the hardships, problems and obstacles, he has still some ray of hope left. मेरी मौजूदगी सिर्फ पेट भर रोटी की मोहताज है. मेरी मौजूदगी सिर्फ पेट भर रोटी की मोहताज है. मेरी मौजूदगी सिर्फ पेट भर रोटी की मोहताज है. सोना चांदी हीरे मोती ये तो अमीरों के ताज हैं. घर मिल जाएं भी ये नकली चमकते कांच और शीशे. भूख की आग जब शिद्दत की हो तो सब बेकार हैं. सब बेकार हैं. सब बेकार.